Ladies and gentlemen, howdy and aloha. We are here and you are there and you are now rocking with the best. We thank you for tuning into another episode of Airey Bros Radio. Tonight we're lacing up and heading back to Williamsburg, Kentucky, home of the reigning NAIA powerhouse, University of the Cumberlands track and cross country program led by our good friend, Coach Bradley Sowder, back for round 3 on ABR. But before we get rolling, y'all know the drill. Make sure you hammer that like button and are subscribed on YouTube. Leave a comment, every view, review, and share helps us grow and give back to the sports we love. Follow us on Instagram, YouTube, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. As always, this episode is fueled by Black Sheep Endurance Coaching for all your ultramarathon and nutrition needs. And let's not forget, while we're here over at Airey Bros Radio, we're here to shine a light on the programs, people, coaches, and stories we wish we had access to growing up. If you or someone you know is chasing their dreams in cross-country wrestling or track and field, share this with them. On to tonight's guest. He needs no introduction, but we'll give him one anyway. Coach Bradley Sowder is joining us. Right now, the women are ranked 3rd in the NAIA in most recent poll in cross-country, and the men's team is 4th. In 2024, the NAIA, they won the men's indoor and outdoor national championships, the first double national title in program history. And in 2025, the women's team won the indoor national championship. It was NAIA Program of the Year in 2023, 2024, lowest combined score ever recorded, with Coach Sowder earning both NAIA Indoor and Outdoor National Coach of the Year honors. Without further ado, it is an honor and pleasure to have you joining us this evening. We do greatly appreciate your time. Coach Sowder, welcome back to the show.
Guys, I appreciate it. I appreciate it. As always, I'm excited, and I feel very grateful that I get to be a part of this.
Well, we're grateful to have you. We're going to give you flowers here in a second. But before we do that, anywhere you would like us to send parents, recruits, fans that want to learn more about the Cumberlands and the program, what you got going on, the floor is yours.
Yeah, the biggest way, man, if you want to really get an inside scoop of our program, the day-to-day operations, kind of our headset and our hearts, our Instagram page is second to none. Obviously, Eddie's been on the broadcast with you all, and he does a phenomenal job, and our sports information program does a phenomenal job of just keeping that up to date and fresh. And that's the easiest way to honestly get a hold of us. You talk to coaches nowadays. DMs are the biggest. Is no longer phone calls or even text messages. It's social media platforms that you can reach out to, or they reach out to us that way. That's the easiest way to get a hold of us and to see what we're all about.
Awesome. And we'll put all that stuff in the show notes for you. Coach, so I said we're going to give you some flowers here. We want to give you a very big thank you. Back in, I believe it was April of 2024, you came on to discuss the national championship indoor season that y'all had. You were somewhere in Virginia on your way to a meet, and you took the time to chat with us. And then you came on again thereafter to talk about the national championships outdoors. Before you had come on the program, we had one coach for track and field and cross country. That was Coach Nick Lara. He was at Metropolitan State when we were originally doing the campus. So we do appreciate you taking a chance on us. And because of you taking a chance on us, that has springboarded what we have been able to do since then, and the amount of cross-country and track and field coaches, not from just the NAI, but the JUCO ranks, Division II, Division III, and even some Division I coaches have now come on and joined us. It has been unbelievable. And so we thank you for that, because we had been trying to get coaches before you, and people just either weren't responding or weren't coming on. And then you took the chance on us, and that kind of opened the floodgates for us. So we do greatly appreciate you taking the time and taking a chance on us. And it's been a wonderful ride since then. And it's just been great to meet Coach Kraftic and everything that you guys got going on at the Cumberland. So we do greatly appreciate you.
No flowers necessary. I think our paths just crossed at the perfect time. One, I think any coach or any person, man, if you can be on a podcast, is super cool. And you all were the first to ever reach out and be like, hey, would you want to do a podcast? And so it's like, absolutely. That's a really cool, just interaction. And you guys have done a phenomenal job. I mean, I get excited seeing the social media updates of, hey, tune in at this time. This is who we're discussing and talking with and chatting with. I'm like, oh man, that's that's someone I would love to have a conversation with, and love to pick their brain and see how they, create a culture or create a dynasty, or man, how are they doing things where they're at? Because everybody has pluses and minuses, and you guys is just it's been really remarkable over these past 2 years of just seeing the transformation and the growth. And it's like, how far can you guys really spread out? And man, it's like when you maybe think, okay, that's the edge. It was like, who else is there? It's like, man, you just find somebody else that's really interesting and intriguing for the listener to dive into and go on this journey with you guys. So I appreciate that.
Well, we appreciate the kind words, and yeah, we like our through lines over here too as well. And so I got a through line for you because as we become friends and followers on social media and stuff, we see posts and we post things, and you comment on things or some of our episodes that we've had, and I've seen some people that have commented on things, and I'm just curious, does the name John Richardson and Chris Landers ring a bell to you?
They do. Yeah, no, man. Uh, John first. So my senior year of college, I transferred between my junior and senior year from the University of Cumberlands, which was Cumberland College at the time, to the University of Kentucky. And so my senior year technically was John Richardson's first year. And man, talk about just a transformation of an individual. One, super gifted, super talented. Obviously, D1 SEC type talent. Um, he ran in Kentucky, transfers, comes back, and man, he has a remarkable career. But the biggest thing about John that I remember is like he was kind of a hardcore atheist. And again, I was a major in religion here at Cumberlands, and pretty vocal about obviously my faith. And we would run together, and when you're running, you're talking about life and this and that, and we talked quite a bit about Jesus and the Holy Spirit, and hey, what's after this life and the next, and just wasn't ever feeling it. And but obviously we've kept it with each other over the years, and this guy, he's sharing the gospel, and he's got a remarkable family, a remarkable career. Has continued to do triathlons and master's level running, but just to see the transformation of his spirit over the years has been really, really cool. And Chris Landers, man, he came in when I came in. He transferred in when I transferred in, and it was up from New Jersey area, and he was one of my groomsmen, not one of my groomsmen. He was actually one of our ushers, and he had a mohawk. And I remember him
Yep.
asking
Sounds
my
about
wife, he's
right.
like, "Is it cool if I still have this mohawk, or do I need to get rid of it for the wedding?" And so just yeah, he has always had a special place in my heart. And when I got this position, he was one of the first to reach out and follows the program. And especially when somebody does something really remarkable, he'll make a comment or, "Hey man, like you got to tell me how that happened, or how did you guys get that recruit or whatever." And so I think he's any day now. His wife is about to have a baby, and so his life's really about to change and turn around. And but yeah, both those guys are really remarkable individuals, and I got nothing but love for them both.
Yeah, that's awesome. I know I've known Chris a little bit longer than I know John. John and I worked at a cross country camp as he was finishing up at Kentucky, and he was kind of like, "Yeah, I'm gonna go into the work." And I was, as an older guy, I was like, "Dude, you're right there. Like, give it a
Yeah.
year or two, just chase that dream." And he's like, I don't really think I got it. I don't think I'm gonna can go much further with it. And so to see him come back and do the triathlon, and then even this winter, get involved in the indoor track and the master stuff has been really cool to watch. And Chris grew up, our town, our hometown, and his hometown are like right next to one another. Like you drive through our town, and the next thing you know, you're in Chris's town. And so we both went to Monmouth University, obviously
Yeah.
at different times, but yeah, we've been able to connect, and we've kind of had that Jersey Shore, connection. So when I saw those guys commenting on stuff, I'm like, I'm
Oh
gonna
yeah.
have to ask him the next time we talk.
Yeah, for sure. No, two great guys, and stay still connected to both of them. And yeah, it's life is so cool, man, and it's such a small knit world. I mean, it seems like such a huge globe, but there's a lot of connections for sure.
Yeah, and I always say it's a small world, and it just keeps getting smaller as we get
That's
older.
right. That's right. Yeah.
Well, so welcome back. Um, how's the fall been treating you?
It's been good. I mean, like you said, our women are ranked third, and the men are ranked fourth currently. And man, it's any coach will tell you, like each season it brings on its own pluses and minuses, and stories, and even character of like personality, if you will. And this year in particular, and it's been really fun. I mean, the dynamics of it, And right now we're doing some individual meetings, which you always do, but like these are like, okay, we're sitting down for 30 minutes, myself and an individual, and we're kind of, hey, this is where we are. We're about halfway through the cross country season. Starting to talk kind of like, 90% of your goals are at the end of the season, and we're kind of making that transition indoor. And we're really big on like, let's not wait till the end of the year to maybe make some adjustments, or particularly for me, like the last question I ask is like, hey, how can I serve you better as an individual? How can I serve this program better as the director? And let's not wait, 3 or 6 months and then come to find out like, hey, coach, had you done this, man, I would have really appreciated it or whatever. And so we sit down and we discuss that. And the overall theme thus far from majority of the individuals that sit down is like, man, we just got a really good vibe. We got a really good energy across the board, both men and women combined, and then separate. I mean, there's times that they're kind of split in two, and there's times that where everybody's combined. And it's got this, again, I'm going to try to find a word, and it's not going to do it justice, but just this unique feel like, man, this is going to be a really special year. And again, the last 2 years, the women have done better than they've ever done in the existence of this program. Finished in sixth last year. In the last 2 years, the men have finished third at cross country nationals. And so we're all looking at each other, and there's several new pieces to that chemistry this year that I think obviously helps. That people are just kind of, and this is something's in the air here, and we're all really, really excited to see it. And to, for myself personally, I'll be the first to admit I've struggled with keeping focused on the day to day. I'm 3 months down the road, and I'm locked in on that, and you can lose sight of enjoying it and having fun and being present and taking care of the things that you need to take care of now for down the road. And so I've really over the summer did a lot of self-reflection, a lot of self-growth of just, if we want that to happen, and we do, and we got to stay in the day to day and make sure that we're enjoying the day to day. And I had to make sure I'm enjoying the day to day. And that's been really refreshing, and finding some balance in my own personal growth in my personal life. And just making sure that I'm coaching. I'm not just directing. And that's been, I think for me at least, that's been a really big change and a breath of fresh air. And I'm really like, every year I've had fun, but I can honestly say like this past spring was rough on me, and I didn't want to go through that again. And so I've had to make some clarity in my own life, and even the returners have said that. That's one of the things that I'm excited to hear from them, because I've been working on this, and there's like, man, you're more present, you're more energetic, you're more patient and taking time. I felt like I had to rush through a lot of maybe instructions or day-to-day operations, because there's like so much I had to do. And I've realized, like, you know what, that doesn't have to get done today. And if it doesn't get done today, you know what, it's not going to be the end of the world. And that's really, really hard for me to say. I feel like I've come a long way in just a short amount of time over the summer and these last couple months of late summer going into fall. But it's made a difference in my life, and it's made a difference within this program. And the young people have really embraced that. But them too, their energy of just, yeah, we're really good, coach, but we're not putting. Okay, prime example. I was talking to Coach James, our assistant middle distance coach, and any other year I would have freaked out on myself the day we were talking about the men's program. I was like, man, I think we have a really good shot of winning this year, and I think we could be top three, and we'll see how it happens. I would never use that type of approach in years past. It's like, we either win or something's wrong. And that's such an ultimatum that, there's so much out of our control, and so many things that we can't put our thumb on, and we can't, have a pulse of on that day of the race, even with those individuals that we're working with as coaches. That's not fair to me. That's not fair to them. That's not fair to this program. And he kind of looked at me, because that's not me. It's like, man, we're going to win or something's wrong. And so I really had to take a step back, because you win, that's great. But if you don't, man, you put so much pressure and so much expectations and so much, just pain, honestly, if it doesn't come to existence. But again, that doesn't mean we don't want to win. That doesn't mean I don't care any more or less. That never changed. But it's just like, man, like we really could. And if we finish third, that's still pretty darn good, you know? So, yeah, a lot of growth and change coming into this year. And again, this is my 22nd year of coaching, and I still don't know it all. We still always, all of us, even as adults, have a lot of room to grow and mature.
Absolutely.
Coach, we know you love to win. You've said it before on this podcast, and you just said that, hey, sometimes you're looking 3 months, 6 months down the line, but you got to do a better job of being present, and you're doing that right now. What are some of the tools that you're using to be present day to day? Asking for a friend.
Yeah. Listen, man, I'm seeing a therapist, and I'll admit it. Um, Man, you know, the women won indoor nationals, and the men finished second. Um, the women win indoor nationals, and I'm more consumed with the men finishing second. And yeah, so what happened is, you know, I want to win, but I realized very, very quickly I don't want to win. It's that I don't want to lose. And I had a lot of demons hidden inside me that I knew would be there if we lost. I felt them at outdoor nationals the year before, and you know, again, it's hard not to try to avoid make it personal, but it is personal to me. This program is personal to me. Us as a family's personal. The success of this program is personal, and I don't have a whole lot to do with it. I'm not out there competing, but I do take it personal, and so I felt it coming on, but it didn't happen. And then indoor nationals, it happened, and it was heavy. Um, it was a lot for me to face, and I got to a point where I hit a bottom, man, a really deep bottom. Um, One, I ended up in the hospital the day after nationals. We got back, and man, I was broken physically and mentally and emotionally, and it took a toll. One, I was sick, but it just, man, it became worse than I thought it was, and ended up in the hospital for a day. And but then it just couldn't shake it, and I knew that. You know, again, I think I shared with you guys, like, we won outdoor nationals 2 years ago, and 10 minutes later, I was thinking about cross country. And one of our assistant athletic directors, my closest friend, I mean, he jumped on me. He's like, "Brother, you're not even celebrating. You're not even enjoying this moment. This is huge, and you're already moving on." And I shared with him. I was like, "Man, the crazy thing is, Dr. Temple, is had we lost, that would have consumed my entire summer." And that's exactly what happened. Like, the women won, and I was extremely proud of them and pumped. But honestly, like, I couldn't even celebrate it because the men lost. And to me, like, I had failed, and that stuck with me all outdoor and even all through the summer. And then finally, you know, I got to the point that it's like, okay, I can do all this and handle it, and I couldn't handle it. And I kind of broke down because I remember going to see a therapist, and she's like, "What do you think?" And I was like, "I think this is a bunch of crap." And man, within 3 minutes, she had me broken down, and there was just so many layers and so many things that it was much more than just winning or losing. And yeah, so man, it's that was the biggest thing, and I still continue. Just it's not a again the growth of just, hey man, I think we're in a really good position, and man, on the right day, yeah, we could win. But there's a lot of other good teams that could win, and you got to respect that. And you know, if we don't, like, that's not failure, and that's that's really really hard for me to say and process. But I'm really coming around with that. This summer, just I stayed home. Last summer, I traveled a lot with recruiting, and yeah, just kind of keeping those priorities, finding balance. I've really relied heavily on the coaching staff around me. Just having some deep conversations with, like, because if you're gonna think that I'm gonna say, "Hey, go do this," I'm not. I'm just gonna do it myself. Like, you have to physically come to me and say, like, "Coach, I'm doing this," and take it off my plate. And you know, Coach White and Coach Overholser and these guys, and they've done a phenomenal job of just taking that ownership and me allowing them that freedom and responsibility. It's been remarkable. I mean, I've been to more of my daughter's volleyball games this fall than I did the last 2 years combined. And so finding that balance and hey, it's again, I still live 2 hours away. It's like, hey, guys, you got this. I'm going to go home for a couple of days and just be a dad. That again, those are things, and this is my 22nd year of coaching, and I'm starting to feel like, man, maybe I'm starting to figure out a few things that I just wasn't able to manage or handle very well. Doesn't mean I don't want to win. Doesn't mean that losing's not going to hurt. Honestly, come November, it's and I tell my therapist, she's like, "How you feel?" I was like, "I'll let you know come November," because that's when the championships are coming around. But I feel different going into this season, going into the postseason, and I'm excited to kind of see how I respond, even if we win. I think I will celebrate differently than I would have maybe in the past, and I think the kids see that, the young people see that. I think the other coaches and a lot of people have said, "Man, you're just different," and so yeah, that's a big piece to it. Understanding and still appreciating every single day, every single moment. That hasn't changed, but it feels different, if that can make sense.
Well, Coach, I want to thank you for being so transparent and open. I think a lot of people are going to benefit from the words you just shared with us. I think more people need to be open like that. I think as men, we tend to hold everything super tight, and especially in the position you're in, we want to win, we want to win, we want to win, and when we don't win, we don't see, when they say shoot for the moon and you land with the stars. You don't even care that you land with the stars because you're not on the moon. So I
Yeah.
appreciate that. And you said you were having one-on-one meetings with the athletes here to kind of tighten some things up, and you were asking, for feedback from the athletes. Did any athletes give you feedback on yourself that surprised you?
Um, Honestly, the biggest thing is that they notice. I think we, as coaches, obviously we know we play an important role, but maybe we don't know how much they're watching us and they're listening to us. And so, to me, like I don't feel like I've made a big adjustment, even though I don't feel it, but I know I have. Um, and they sense that, they feel that, they appreciate it. And so again, just if they a lot of them have said like it just feels like you slowed down. And again, this past spring, and it's hard for me because I'm a very emotional and personable person. Like I've said, like if you think of this program, not arrogantly, not cocky, but like I want you to think of me because I'm investing so much time, energy, and effort. Like I, I want I want to be extremely proud of this program. I want our athletic directors and our president and alums and those that are current, like I want them, like this is very, very important to me. I am professionally obsessed with the success and the reputation and the status of this program. And so when you're given everything you got, yeah, it's going to be personal. And I was trying to personally outrun demons with the success of this program because I knew that had we lost, quote unquote, again, runners up is not losing. And again, I would not have been able to say that 3 months ago. Um, that we're still going to be okay, and that type of mindset, that type of attitude, I think is carrying over, and the athletes see that because I put so much pressure on myself and expectation, which I'm fine with, but I didn't do it the right way. And again, where I am so emotional, and I do wear my emotions on my sleeve, and the kids sense that, and that yeah, that's not what they want. They definitely don't want that. And it wasn't like I was like, you've got to do this and we've got to do this. It was more, I've got to do this, and like it just reflected. It's like, man, if we don't win, this isn't going to be good for me. And I'm close enough to this program. This program's close enough to me. People could sense that, and that shouldn't be that way. And so this year, there's man, you're a little bit more chilled, a little bit more relaxed, definitely more approachable. Um, it's not like a pressure cooker. It's more like, and this guy's kind of my big brother here a little bit. And again, I'm enjoying it, and it's been a lot of fun.
Have you cut back on the cappuccinos at all?
No, absolutely not. I've actually increased. Man, if we so again, it's three cappuccinos. That's 9 shots. Yeah, there's starting to be a lot more days where it's like, and it's not even for the espresso. It's just more for the taste. It's like, all right, I can have one and go right to bed, no problems. Um, I do have a few more people that I think are becoming a little bit more concerned. They're like, Coach, like you are getting older. And we don't know how much more your heart can take. So you might need to cut back to two. And we see that you're having a fourth one. We're hearing that you're having a fourth one. Um, But yeah, not cutting back on that at all, and because we're still going hard, and we still have a lot of things that we want to accomplish, and a lot of moments that we want to turn into memories for sure.
Right on. Well, talk about the memories and all that stuff. Women were sixth last year, highest finish in program history. They're currently ranked third. What's been fueling the rise?
If I'm honest, I don't think we're the third best team right now, and that's not an attack against our women. I think they're doing a phenomenal job. I think that we've got a great group of women. I think we might be a little bit deeper than we've been in years past on the women's side. Um, it's just a good flow of energy is probably the biggest thing right now. I think what sometimes programs or athletes have a tendency to do when you have that superstar, let's talk about the women. We had three All-Americans in the fall, and two of them graduated and one transferred. And so we had five women out of the seven that competed at the national meet no longer here. Most of them graduated. And so I think sometimes you sit back and you're like, okay, we're going to be pretty good because they're here. Well, they're not here. And that can be that kind of that good pressure, like, okay, this is my time to kind of step up. And we've had quite a few women step up. We had some really strong transfers come in. We've had some really strong freshmen come in that almost don't know anything different other than, hey, we're going to run hard. And that's what they're doing. And they've got a pretty good vibe of just, man, again, we have a balance of just, we know we're really good. And if we win, great. And if we just go out there and we compete to our best, that's even better than the outcome of are we on the podium or not. And again, that relieves a little bit of pressure. It keeps things a little bit more maybe relaxed. That doesn't mean we're not working hard. That doesn't mean they don't focus or don't care. It's just we found a really good balance of, man, let's make sure that we're really enjoying this and we're working on these day-to-days. And Chris Craftick, our athletic director, I mean, we won the Litterfield Cup last 2 years. He's like, man, we need to focus on today, Wednesday, or Thursday, or Friday, or whatever. And if we're doing that, November, whatever, is going to be a pretty good day for us as well. And yeah, I think we're really intentional in doing that. If it's a recovery day, man, we're having fun with that recovery day and we're focused on it. And if it's a workout day, guess what? We're still having fun and we're focused on it. And the ladies have done a really good job of that thus far.
Right on. And you mentioned you losing a lady to transfer, and you lost two gentlemen. One came back. How do you manage that as a coach? You try not to take things personally. We've read the four agreements enough to know that we shouldn't take things personally. That's easier said than done. How do you manage that for your own well-being, but then also how are you managing that for the team culture?
Yeah, great, man. That's I don't know how much time do we have tonight. So no, great question. So personally, um, because we do have. Hey, listen. At the end of the day, I'm trying to honestly, I'm trying to recruit D1 level talent at the NAIA level. It would be preposterous of me to think that they're all going to stay. Um, and so one thing that I've really embraced this year is each year. If you're here for a year, okay, you're here for a year, but man, give everything you got to this program. And at the end of the year, if you're deciding to leave, you're deciding to leave. And I'm not going to say I don't take it personal. I do. I mean, I'm investing into these men and women and their lives. I love them. This is my way of serving. It's not just a business. I mean, I don't even like to tell people I'm a track coach. Like I just like helping people accomplish their goals. That's what I do. And so it is hard not to take it personal. There's a little bit of difference too when if they come to me, I tell them like, listen, Cumberlands isn't for everybody. Williamsburg isn't for everybody. And then, you're going to run really, really fast and you might have some opportunities to have a better situation than what you have here. So number one, if you're not happy, let me know. And number two, if you're looking, let me know. Again, Luca Madeo, Yusuf Ashlush, Lucas Santorum, Gustav, like all these, I helped them find the places that they wanted to go. I remember, Lucas Santorum, three-time national champion, kids from Rome, Italy, Williamsburg, Kentucky. That's probably not going to work. And so he came to me. He's like, Coach, I want to find somewhere else. And he's D1 talent. I said, all right, look at let's create a list. Let's look at pros and cons. Let's look at what are you wanting to find? And when he gets his contract agreement, his scholarship paper, he's like, Coach, will you help, look over this with me and make sure that this is what they're saying they're doing. I mean, we had complete communication. Again, Luca Madeo, like, he runs really fast. We're at a Waffle House. So he runs really fast at Raleigh Relays. We sit down, it's just him and I. It's really late. We're at Waffle House, the only thing open. And I kind of take a deep breath. I'm like, all right, Luke, I love you to death. We're bros. But what are you thinking, man? And he's like, yeah, Coach, I want altitude, and I want this, and I want that, and this is what I'm going to do. And I was like, all right, man, like, if you'll allow me, I want to help you and talk to coaches and talk, negotiations and what I thought and what he thought was, and we worked on it, and no hard feelings. Like, again, Yusuf and Luca and Gustav and all these other guys, man, I'm huge fans. Still I talk to him more now than I probably talked to him when I was coaching them, just to support them and love them and check in on them, and make sure that these guys are okay. And people are going to come and go, and especially now in collegiate athletics, it's not a Cumberlands thing. It's not an NAIA thing. It is an athletics thing. Can you find something better? Is the grass greener? And I think people are more adventurous and less timid to test waters and to venture out. And listen, with NIL and better housing at different places or facilities or settings or whatever, why not? And again, am I for it? No, I want somebody here 4 years. My objective is to bring them in, love them, provide for them, help them as much as I can as a coach, as a human being, and watch them graduate. Obviously, that's what our institution wants as well. But we've got to be realists that, man, not everybody's going to be here as a 4-year student. That 4-year student platform is really, especially in athletics, it's not existing. I mean, when you see athletes, man, they're transferring at the beginning of Christmas break, going somewhere, and by the end of Christmas break, they're going somewhere else because they're getting more NIL money. That's common. There's a business portion to this for coaches, for programs, and also for the athletes. And then the second part of your question, well, let me, I guess, full circle with it. Do I take it personal? Yes. I actually got to the point. I mean, last time you and I talked, I mean, Yusuf he's family to me. I mean, this guy spent Christmas in my house. I went to Morocco to watch him race. And so when he says, hey, Coach, I want to venture out and I want to try to go D1, man, it hurt. I'll be honest, and Yusuf and we sat down a lot in my office and I told him, like, man, this really hurts. And he's like, man, it hurts me to leave. But at the end of the day, man, I could not be more proud that he's an Aggie at Texas A&M and doing great things. And we message each other once a week and just check in and see how the families are. Like, he knows my kids and I know his brother and his sisters and his parents. And, it's at the end of the day, it's beyond just going fast and having the right athletes and the right success. We're dealing with people here, man. And it would be hypocritical for me to say, like, I want what's best for you, even if it's not here at Cumberlands, and then to hold that against them, that just doesn't seem right. Does it hurt? Yes. But I mean, I it is what it is. And I love those guys and I'm really excited for what they have going on, where they're at. Now, as a culture, it can be somewhat difficult because you're starting to build something, and maybe these key ingredients, if you will, these key figures, when they leave. And so when you're trying to develop a culture, again, it has to be maybe wrapped around, like, this person might only be here for a year. And we're really, and I got that from our baseball coach. This guy's a veteran and he's doing a phenomenal job. And, NIL money in baseball is crazy compared to like track and field or whatever. And people wanting to go to that next level. And he's like, man, we just kind of embrace, like, you're here for this year. Let's be all in for this year. And then we get to the end of the year, like, it's like a 1-year contract each and every year. And he's like, man, that's how we don't get hurt as much, like, emotionally. And the culture is, you're here for a year. Let's be locked in every single day for that year. And let's build something. Let's make it better than it was the day before. And then if you're here next year or somebody comes in next year, we're just carrying that culture on. What does that culture look like at the end of it? I'm not quite sure, because, again, I think all cultures of all programs are making this huge transition from that traditional, hey, I'm there for 4 years, to don't hold your breath. Because I don't think most college athletes if they're able to go somewhere else, are going to stick with you. Like loyalty is no longer a buzzword. It's more almost like, no one knows what that means anymore. And so I think culturally, yeah, it makes a challenge. And, the teams that can keep people there for 4 years, they probably have the right setup. You don't see or hear a lot of people leaving BYU. There's a lot of logistics that probably go into that. Um, you look at somebody maybe at the University of Oregon and they transfer. It's like, why are they leaving Oregon? Like they have everything, but maybe they didn't have everything and they're finding something somewhere else. And there's a lot of like, I'm going to take care of me mentality. And that's probably what you're fighting more with the culture, is not them leaving, is more, I can go anywhere I want to go if this doesn't work. And that's really, really hard to kind of have that buy-in. Now, thankfully, a lot of people that come here to the university, come as a part of this program, again, we're trying to produce a product. That product is this experience where you're like, you know what, there's nothing better than this for me out there. And if people can really embrace that and appreciate it, we talk about gratitude and appreciation with this program. Like, it is a privilege to be in the position that these men and women of this program are in. It's a privilege for me to be in this position that I'm in as a director. We cannot lose sight of that. Like, we get to do this. You're being paid to participate in a sport that you absolutely love. You're being paid, and your education's being handled. And what a blessing! Like, if you were talking about culture, like, we need to bring that to the forefront. And so every Wednesday we meet as a program, 125 men and women, and that's the first thing we do is like, man, what are we grateful for? And it's the same stuff. Like, I'm grateful for food and air conditioner or heat, depending on the weather, or my health or my family. And it's like, okay, let's stop for a second. Like, let's really get down to the nitty-gritty. And you got a roof over your head, you got food, you get to do this. Like, you get to find the outer limits of your God-given ability. You got a great, infrastructure of friends and family around you that love you and support you. Yes, you're healthy. It's bring it to the surface here, and some of you, man, you're going to graduate, and you're going to be the first to graduate from your family, from your household. And let's not lose sight of that. We got one young man, and I love telling his story that before here, he was in jail. It's like, hey, last stop, where were you? He's like, I was in jail. And came to me, and I brought him into my office. He's got a rough upbringing. And I was like, man, how many people graduated from high school or college? He's like, man, I'm the first to graduate high school, and I will be the first that graduates college if I can figure this out. And I said, well, we're going to do more than figure it out. Like, this is a must. Like, you've got, like, there's no plan B here, bro. Like, we're your fourth school and you just got out of jail. And his words, not mine. He's like, Coach, I need you to stay on my ass every day. And it's like, that's what I'll do, because I absolutely love this guy. I want to see him be successful. And that's our culture. It's just, let's not give up on them, even if they're only going to be here a year. Let's love them and support them and take care of them as much as we possibly can. And maybe they come back, maybe they don't. But again, we're going to create that experience, those moments that are going to be memories, that even if they go off to Oregon or Alabama or wherever, man, they're still going to have these really cool moments that are memories of the University of Cumberlands.
Coach, do you find a silver lining in the kids leaving where, hey, I just had 6 kids get money to go to other institutions. I must be doing something right. Obviously, it's a hit, right? But there's got to be, do you have a silver lining to it at all?
No, there is. You know, I was talking to somebody. Well, I was talking to my closest friend, Dr. Temple. I said, man, it almost feels like we're being penalized for doing too good of a job. And again, let's be full disclosure here. Like, 90% of what happens success wise is the athlete. Again, it doesn't hurt me to write training. But I tell people all the time, that other 10%, that is me. That's our coaching staff. I mean, we take that extremely serious, and we're extremely passionate. I like to say professionally obsessed with doing that correctly. Again, we're pouring in, like, this is us washing hands and washing feet of these individuals. And so you do put a lot of time, energy, and effort, and then boom, they're moving on in a year or two or whatever. And you kind of wrestle with, like, man, am I being penalized for doing too good of a job? But But at the end of the day, if you know they're going to be taken care of, if it's a better situation for them, like they have that sense of peace of, and I ask the athletes like, hey, like, what are you looking for then? Like, what are we not able to offer here? Because we have a really good situation here, obviously at the University of Cumberlands. But if they have a few objectives, okay, are those objectives being met where they're going, or are they just leaving because they're leaving and they're not happy? Like, and if we're able to have those boxes checked, and it's like, okay, this is a better situation for what they're looking for. We got to just turn around and, okay, let's find the next person and we'll invest into them as a human being and try to take care of them the best we can. And again, this is a new me, because when there's a few that I take it extremely personal, and again, I'll use Yusuf as an example of this guy to death. But like when he told me, I was just like, this sucks. Like, I mean, this guy's in my house, my kids, they know Yusuf, and then he walks in and he's like, hey, I want to transfer. It's like, what what else have we had to do to keep this guy? And in his list, it made sense. Those were things that we couldn't offer here, and it's like, man, he's going to go there and he's going to be successful, and I'm going to cheer him on and support him. But like, yeah, dang, that hurts. That hurts, but eventually you move on and you move forward, and we're humans, and we got to keep that at the forefront. And I'm really, really proud of him.
You talk about serving your athletes, and you had a relationship with Yusuf where he was someone who was like family to you. Then you have someone like Luca who goes to Adams State. You think he's gone, and then, hey, coach, I want to come back. So get into that a little bit, and at a certain point where you like, yes, I did something right. They're coming back.
Yeah, so as much as I adore and love Yusuf, Luca's right there. And full disclosure, man, like Luca Madeo is that type of athlete. Like, I was like, this guy's going to be the cornerstone of this program. Like, he is the epitome of what I want this program to represent. He comes off very brass and arrogant, but in reality, he's very confident. He's very trustworthy. I mean, this guy lives and breathes training, and you're the coach, Coach Sowder. Like, you tell me, and let's get to it. And is very goal driven, but enjoys it. Again, we're sitting in a Waffle House, and the guy runs 21 or 29:01, and it's fourth fastest time in the history of the NAIA. And it's like, you just when someone does something that remarkable, okay, we're not Texas A&M, and we're not Adams State, and we're not Oregon or Tennessee or whoever. These guys are going to start getting phone calls and messages from those coaches or whatever, and they're going to venture out like, what am I worth? And so I asked him, just straight up, like, Luca, again, I love you to death. You're family to me. Man, are you thinking and considering? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay, like, why? And he said, man, I won an individual national title, and we've won team titles, and he wants to go pro, which he will go pro. And he said, we've done everything that I've wanted to do, and I really think I need altitude, and just, is there something else out there, is what it came down to. But altitude was a big piece to it. And again, we sat down and it's like, okay, let's look at this. Where can you go and receive the type of scholarship that you're going to need that has altitude? And man, we had everybody and their brother reaching out to us. I mean, I talked to a lot of coaches that it's like, man, I would love to be talking to you for other reasons other than this. And he felt very strong about Adams State. I felt very strong about Adams State, and I mean, I was proud. Again, advocated for him. I continued to work with him during the summer for Euro U23, and I even told him in the training, like at the end of Euro U23, hey, man, go off and do great things at Adams State, and just stayed in contact of just he reached out, hey, coach, thinking of you, man, I can't thank you enough, and hey, Luca, love you, man, you're gonna crush it. I see that the Stride Report or Flow Track or somebody, they got you, being an All-American for Division II, and they got you ranked at 40th. They don't know what they're talking about. You're top 20 at least. Like, just hyping the guy up because I absolutely love him and support him. And but then I got kind of clearance from Adams State, and he reached out and said, Coach, can I talk to you? I was like, well, let's make sure we've got all of our things in order that you can talk to me, because this doesn't sound like we're just checking in with each other. And he just wanted to make a transition to come back. And Sometimes things work out, sometimes things don't. I don't think there was anything wrong with Adams State. Adams State is legendary, and they're doing remarkable things, but it doesn't always work for each person. And again, maybe University of Cumberlands doesn't work for every single person. But obviously, it's worked for Luca Madeo, and he felt very strong about what we've done and what we can do. And he was like, Coach, if it's possible, if you're willing, I would love to come back. And here's the crazy thing. This is the type of person that Luca Madeo is. He wasn't, okay, two-time national champion, been two times team national champion, record holder for several records, made Euros, U23, and he's not expecting a full ride. All right, he was on full ride, but not expecting it. It wasn't like, yeah, I'm getting that full ride back, right? It was, all right, Coach, like, can we talk about money? And I was like, what do you mean talk about money? I was like, Luca, nothing changed between you and me. Like, you're coming back. We're going to take care of things. Consider it done. Let's get to work. And it happened pretty quick. And boom, he's back. He's trained. He's excited. And just the energy in his voice, the energy in his face has been really, really remarkable. And yeah, you kind of think like it was very flattering. I don't know if I said like, yes, we were doing something right. I was just like, oh, thank you, Jesus. Like this is Christmas pretty early. And I really I'm thankful that he had that type of energy and trust in us and our program and what we're doing to choose us again. Because again, there's I'm sure other schools that would have loved to have him in that transition from Adams State to somewhere else.
When will we see him lace up the spikes again?
Yeah, no, I'm not going to leave. I'm not going to tell anyone that. No, there's a lot of speculation and stuff like, is he running cross country? He can't run cross country because he transitioned or transferred, halfway through the semester. One of the things too that he kind of asked for, requested if it was possible, he wants to do a fifth year in the United States, and so we were going to. I agreed to that. Like, hey, let's do that. So we were going to have to redshirt something. So it just made sense. One, we can't race during the fall. And that gives us a cross-country season at least. And we're going to look at a few other things that we can maybe figure out for a fifth year. But indoor, yeah, right now we're looking at, and I feel safe that I can share his information. Right now, man, our expectation is the German record for the half marathon. And so we're setting up some things for that this fall where he's available to chase that and get after it. Right now, he's in phenomenal shape. Like he came back to campus and is enrolled, and man, he just picked up where he left off, honestly. And I was looking a little bit more of a drawn out transition. And he was like, no, let's get to it. And again, we collaborate really well, and that's one thing I think he missed is he does have a lot of input into his training and his suggestions. Ultimately, at the end of the day, he trusts that, hey, you're the coach. You tell me what we need to do, and I'm going to do it. But this guy, man, he's like a metrodome, and he knows his body really well. We kind of joke because I'm like, all right, we're doing lactic testing and with the double T thresholds and all these other things. Like, all right, Luca, like, what's the lactic levels? And he's never missed one. He's like, oh, it's 2.8, easily 2.8. And I'll test it. And guys, I'm telling you, it's 2.8. Like he's never been wrong. It's whatever he said he feels it is. The tester, and I'll even do it like, okay, that was luck. I'll do it again real quick, and it reads it right back, and he's always spot on. This guy's he's that well in tune with his body and his performance and his fitness. And so we're really ramping it up, and I think he can get it, honestly. And then we're turning around and it's like, all right, we get some business to take care of at nationals. And again, his words, not me, and I'm not going to hold him to it. He's, somebody said, well, are you worried that he's just going to come here for a year and leave? And he told me, he's like, Coach, when I come back, I'm not leaving, no matter how much money or what the circumstances is that's being presented to me. And I told him, I said, Luca, listen, I'm not going to hold you to that. I appreciate that. I love that you're saying that. But the way we're talking, I think he's here. I really do. He has some pretty high expectations and aspirations, but honestly, like, they're not so far out there that I'm just like, look, we're going to have to chill on that a little bit. He wants to be a pro athlete, and he feels that we together can get him there. And that keeps me up at night. It's like this kid, this young man's putting a lot of trust in me, putting a lot of trust in this institution, this program. Let's make sure we're doing things right. And he will be there. Yeah.
What is the German half marathon record?
It's 62 something, if I remember correctly. And so we've got a target date, we've got a target location. I will not give that away. That's for him. But I'm really, really excited about his fitness. I'm really, really excited where he is just mentally and emotionally. And yeah, so we've got a time, we got a date and a location, excuse me. And so now we actually talked about it this morning. I was like, man, do you want me there? And do you mind if I'm there to watch and celebrate and cheer? Because I do think he will get it. Um, and yeah, it's been fun to have him back, man. It's been really fun. And the team received him very well. You know, you could have some resentment or animosity, and no, it was everybody was really excited that it returned, and those that were new, obviously they had seen and heard all about him through the recruiting process and social media, and so now it's like we had heard about this guy. Now we get to train with this guy and be around this guy, and it's been a really cool experience so far.
Blink twice if it's Houston.
No, no, it's not Houston. So yeah, no, Houston was one we were actually looking at, and they said no too, which we were a little surprised with. But we found another one that's going to be just as solid, and yeah, we're excited about that. So no Houston, no
No
weekend.
spoils, Rick.
I tried,
Yeah.
folks. Well, you talk about his training. He's been posting some pretty monster days and some monster double T days. So I'm curious, as a team and as a coach, how has the double T evolved over the last 3 years for you guys?
Yeah, so a lot of it is I think, and again, just reflecting and talking to some of the men, and one of them in particular, Sherva Serhi is his real name, but everybody calls him Sherva. A little bit older and definitely approached me. I get the, hey, you're kind of scary, you're intimidating, or and he finally just came at, he's like obviously not scared of me. He's a great friend of mine, and he was like, hey man, like let's talk about double T and threshold. And he's like, I think we just get too ambitious and we get too competitive and it's no longer threshold. And we really need to kind of dial that back a little bit. And so we've done a really good job of that. It's just like, all right, guys, here's where we want to be. Let's stay within those guidelines and those lines. And I think too, we've got a really good group of like, we don't have that low stick, where we maybe had that in the past. And we've got this really just core group of honestly about a group of 12 guys. We're pretty deep right now. And so keeping them all together, but keeping them in check has been, I think, beneficial. And also too on the women's side. But just can we press we can add a little bit more volume, even more than maybe what we've done in the past. If we hold back the velocity of it. And then too, like I get bored. Like I don't want to see the same workouts over and over and over and over. And then I don't want to do the same workouts over and over and over. And so we've become a little bit even more creative. Okay, we've done that 1 year, we've done that 2 years. Okay, third year, we're not doing that. We're mixing this up and changing it because the athlete is evolving as well. And but then you got to backpedal to kind of find that balance. And you got some new students that have never done double T. And some of them still can't. And we've had others that, I mean, they've done it for 2 or 3 years. The cool thing now is this year in particular is we we came to our first threshold session, and I've got 4 lactic testers, and then all of a sudden, like 5 or 6 guys are pulling out their own lactic testers. A lot of our European international men in particular, they have their own because a lot of them have been doing double T threshold, or threshold is something that they're very science-based with, and they're like, hey, I brought mine. So man, we got 8 lactic testers. It's like as long as we got all the other instruments that we need, I mean, we're testing a lot of people and getting a lot of data, and yeah, it's cool. Again, it's just a piece of information. I'm more like, okay, it says 3.00, but like, what is your body telling you? And really using that information, and but then also too having some guys that maybe done double T threshold longer than we've done as a program. And so being able to, sit down and have a cup of coffee and like, all right, man, like, what do you know? What do you think? Because what we're finding is the rule is kind of between 3 to 4, and we're seeing that like, man, you could be at 2.8 in the morning and it'd be equivalent to the same as a 3.8 in the afternoon because of the weather, because of the time of day, because of how your body feels. and so we're definitely gaining and honing in. I think, okay, this is year 2, year 3 of double T or lactic threshold testing or whatever, and give us another year or two. We're going to be so dialed in. We'll probably write a book. So
Nice. I'm curious, you mentioned like changing it up year to year and maybe not doing the same workout or getting tired of the same workout. Is there a Patriots benchmark that you do periodically, maybe like once a month or once a quarter to kind of get your baseline and see where everyone's at from year to year?
there's two particular workouts. One is the Patriot. Coach Overholser named it that, and we do it at the same time every year, and it's been a remarkable benchmark of just, man, if we're able, one, to get through this successfully, it's a pretty challenging. So we do a 3 to 4 mile tempo, and then 3 to 4 times K, and then we'll finish up with 3 or 4 times, 600s or 400s. So we're kind of working on several different energy systems, and a whole lot of break in between. Because again, when you're racing, you're not just using one energy system, and that's probably one of our staples of like, we're never just doing a tempo. We're never just doing a threshold. We're always throwing something else in there in the mix. We're never ever doing like just a time trial. For more of our middle distance oriented athletes during the fall, they might be doing 500s or 600 time trials for 800 meters. They're never just going in completely fresh. They're doing something before and probably even doing something after. Another one's kind of you're trying to just, I think it's kind of your 90s, early 2000s bread and butter, like, you're kind of your ladders, your cut downs, your mile, your 12, your 8, your 4, and you're doing 2 sets of those. We tend to do that particular workout twice a year during the fall, a little bit earlier in the year. And then we come back and it's like, guys, honestly, if we can do this same workout and hit the same times, but with less energy, that shows fitness. If we can do this workout and we're going faster, this can show fitness. If we can do the same workout and we're cutting down the rest that we had originally, we're showing fitness. And so there might be a little bit of variation in that. But we usually do that particular workout that for the men on that side, 16, 12, 8, 4, 2 sets of those twice a year. And then on the women's side, some women will do that. Some of them are a little bit higher volume, maybe a little bit older. They can do that volume, or they'll go like 12K, 6 and 4, and do 2 sets of those. And then the Patriots, tried and true. This Friday, we're doing in Michigan. I think almost every cross-country program in the nation will have their variation or similarity of a Michigan. And we usually typically do that once or twice within the indoor and outdoor, but also with the cross-country season as well, for those higher, 5K, 10K men and women during the track season, but also during the cross-country season. That tends to get thrown in. I would say, and Coach James and I were talking about this earlier today, the last 5 weeks of the season hasn't changed in the last 3 years. We think we've found, obviously, I think the results speak for themselves these last 2 years, but it's pretty fine tuned, and it feels like it's doing its purpose within the workouts. A lot of it is more, talking about like somebody you've had on the podcast before, Ron Mann. One thing he told me, Coach Mann told me, is like he's seen a lot of teams mess it up in November because they're just trying to do too much and change too many things. And he said, man, you need to be fit going into November, and November's going to take care of itself. And that really resonated and stuck with me. And so from just the University of Cumberlands, but also from previous schools, the last 5 weeks of the cross-country season, it's looked pretty much the same for where I've been. Maybe a few modifications for individualization, but the overall template rubric, if you will, has remained the same and is done pretty solid.
Rich, we sure like those ladders, don't we?
Yeah, we do.
Coach, you said you're deep on both the men's and women's sides. I know you've had some athletes on both sides get conference athlete of the week so far this year. I believe you had a male. I believe his name's Noah. I'm not even going to try his last name because I don't want to
Yeah,
butcher it.
no, it's exactly how it looks. Noah Luca.
All right. I know he's run a top 20 time on the cross country side of things. Who do we need to be keeping an eye out on going into conference and in nationals?
All of them, honestly. all
Right
of them.
answer.
Man, each of them bring a tremendous amount of willingness and desire, and passion to be the best versions of themselves. And so, you know, if there's a difference between the number one runner and the number 10 runner, between both the men and women's portions of this program, it's just sheer talent, and maybe how they balance life right now. But desire, passion, work ethic, commitment to the logo, to themselves, to their teammates, nothing different. And so it's a cool time to kind of be the head coach or assistant coach or any coach of this program within this season, because there's not a tried true, like, these are the top 7 for sure. This is the top 1 for sure. There's a lot of mixing, and that keeps everybody on their toes, and good, healthy competition within practices, and obviously with competition. But I would be doing a disservice if I was to name 1 or 2 or 3, like, hey, you need to keep your eyes on this one. One, I would miss somebody that might be, obvious, but at this point, I think they're all obvious, and you need to. If you consider yourself our competition, you need to keep your eyes on all of them, because all of them are doing really well. All of them are motivated. They know that we're only going to take 10 to nationals and only 7 race. And one of the biggest things I have heard this year is, I want to race at the national meet. I want to race. I want my point total by my name to be a part of the accumulation of a point total at the national meet. That's only 5 people, and we're pretty deep, and we're going to take 10 and we're going to race 7. And so that's a good benchmark. Is I'm hearing what you're saying. You want your placement 60th or 6th, whatever it is, to be part of that point total, and so does the rest of these guys. How are we going to get there? And that keeps everybody pretty focused and in tune. And again, they have a good balance of having fun while they're doing all this. But at the end of the day, yeah, everybody's wanting to contribute, and so I can't pinpoint one person at this moment, because all of them, I'm proud that they're wearing our logo. I can say that.
Well, we will be glued to our computer screens. I know Rich said we got a lot of friends now in the NAIA, but we will be chanting for the Patriots.
Well, and I think a prime example is we have raced 3 races, and we've had 5 different athletes be conference athlete of the week. And usually your conference athlete of the week is the fastest runner in the conference. And we've had 2 different women and 3 different guys as the conference runner of the week. And so again, that shows, one, our depth, but that also shows, like, who is your number 1 right now? Who should you watch out? Man, you should watch out for all of them, because they're running really, really well. So,
Will you guys go to the well at all before conference?
yes, yeah. This Friday is going to be a pretty deep one. Next Friday will be, and then we'll head off to Appalachian Challenge, and then between Appalachian and conference, we'll hit one really hard. And even the week at conference, we'll probably run pretty strong the earlier on in that week, because we're pretty confident we'll take care of business at conference and have our mindset on being ready to go for nationals.
You guys lock horns with Milligan at the Appalachian Challenge?
Yeah, so really great meet that's expanding there in Knoxville. Milligan, we went for the first time last year, and Milligan's there, and Savannah, Georgia's there, and Montreat's there. They're all really strong programs. Tennessee, Wesleyan's there, and beautiful course. I mean, it's sitting right on the side of the lake. I was standing there waiting for either the men or women, again, got coffee in my hand, and waiting for them to come to some mark. And these 2 eagles, like, hover down over the water. I'm like, what was this, National Geographic? I thought it was a cross country. It's really cool. And again, this is the time of year where temperatures are finally your friend, and the weather's right, and people should be in really, really good, solid shape. And so they do a really good job at this meet. But yeah, Milligan, I mean, you can't say enough great things of what Coach Lane and his personnel have done there, and just the remarkable growth and transformation that the program's had over the last couple of years. They are, in my mind, the benchmark when it comes to cross country, both men and women. And so when you can line up against those those guys and those ladies before the national meet. I think it's an honor and a privilege for us and anyone else who gets to do that.
Yeah, no doubt. And typically, cross country nationals, whichever division or association it is, tends to be in a cooler environment. This year, you guys are in Jacksonville. Um, do you anticipate the weather or the temperature being a factor?
So actually in Tallahassee,
Oh, it's Tallahassee.
and,
Sorry.
and and we were there my first year 3 years ago. We were in Tallahassee, and I remember running around wearing long sleeves and long pants, no gloves. Um, it'll probably, and I tell people like heat and humidity in Florida is different than heat and humidity in Kentucky. It's a little bit drier in my opinion, but even which sounds weird because like dry humidity like that doesn't make sense. But it, if you to me it makes sense because it's
Hmm.
like you don't feel it, but then it's there kind of thing. And I don't remember that 3 years ago. Honestly, it was kind of a pleasant morning. But then, right now we're having a hotter fall
Yeah.
than we typically have, and so we're making some adjustments with our training and one thing that we're doing is we're studying BYU. The Division One Nationals was there a couple years ago before that, and they're coming from a cooler climate, and they did really well. And it's like, what did they do? Also studying Notre Dame, like their men's had a really good day showing that day, and like, okay, is there somebody there we can reach out to and ask them like, how did you guys prepare more for the course than for the weather? I probably should reach out to Coach Lane at Milligan. They had a really good day 3 years ago there. I don't think he's going to give me any secrets. But really, it's. I think the weather is going to be nice. It's more preparing for the course itself
Mhm.
is what we're kind of anticipating. And again, those are some of the adjustments. We're doing things differently this year with training, preparing for the course at Tallahassee than we did for Missouri this past fall. And yeah, again, we talk about what are the demands and almost expectations, if you will, that the event itself presents. 10,000 meters is not going to change. It's always going to be 10,000 meters. Cross country is a little different in a sense because it's 8,000 meters. Yes, that's not changing, but the course is completely different
Mhm.
than maybe other courses or previous nationals. How are you physiologically preparing uh, student athletes for that and kind of ensuring we're meeting the demands of the event? So.
I don't know. Was there any thought to get down there for a race to get the kids on the course at all?
So the Florida State offers a couple opportunities earlier in the season. It didn't really make sense with the schedule we had. Um, we also feel really good about we know the course. We can really study. There's a lot of footage, YouTube and social media, whatever else that you can really know the course without having to be there and be present. Um, and so it just didn't make a whole lot of sense for us to go all the way down there as early as it was. It's going to be miserably hot. Um, when we feel pretty strong, we have a good grip on what the course presents and how it presents itself. Um, and we feel pretty strong that we know how to prepare for that. Hopefully, I don't eat those words later on, but that we could save that trip and go somewhere else and work on a few other objectives if we will. Um, is it fast? It's absolutely fast. The young lady from Taylor, she went down there and broke the NAIA record, made it look like just silly, and it wasn't ideal conditions. And so, she's definitely going to have just an understanding and appreciation for that course because she's handled it and owned it. Um, but we're going to kind of rely on some previous experience. Like we've been there before. We did that my first year. We went down and previewed the course. I remember it's like a 7 o'clock race time in the morning. It's pitch black, and we're pulling up to this almost deserted park. It's like, are we lost? And then all of a sudden the sun pops up and we're racing, and it was miserable, just dripping sweat and
Mhm.
everything else. But from that, and then obviously we had an individual and a women's team make it that year. We have a pretty good understanding of the course and how it runs. And yeah, so.
Right on. Appreciate the insights.
Final four, Rich.
Yeah, let's do it.
All right, Coach Sowder, you told us you're already about four deep on the cappuccino, so that goes my first question. But question I have for you, you mentioned you asked the athletes what they're grateful for. What are
Mhm.
three things that you are grateful for in your life today?
Uh, Number one, my family, my wife and my kids, just they mean so much, and my friendships that I have with just a core group of people that I'm surrounded by, and uh, it's yeah, when you get in a dark place, man, like who are you going to turn to, and who can you rely on, and not everybody who says they're going to be there will be there, and I'm very thankful for those people. Just the little things. Waking up and realizing like, man, I still get to do this is such an appreciation. And I try very, very hard not to take that for granted. Again, I get to do this and I love it. I get to work with young people and help them become the best version of themselves while I'm trying to still become the best version of myself. And so I really, really appreciate that. I appreciate um, I've started walking, which is crazy. Maybe slowing down a little bit, but just the clarity of, man, having some time to just turn things off, and that's really, really hard for me to do. Um, but that's been remarkable. And then I would be remorse to say like Coach James, our assistant middle distance and distance coach, this guy's doing a remarkable job. Had an opportunity to go somewhere else and decided to come back and stay here. And man, I'm so thankful for just his commitment and his willingness to, he's like, hey, how can I help you in making your life easier? And he's done a remarkable job. And I'm very, very appreciative of his time, energy, and effort because he's got a young one, man. He's just now starting to walk. So however old your kid is starting to walk, and I know he's early, but he still is 100% committed and focused on helping me and helping this program. And I cannot thank him enough.
Shout out to Coach James.
Shout out to
Yeah,
Coach James and Coach
James,
Sowder.
Coach James. Yep.
Coach Sowder, I will say I know you're super grateful for him and he's super loyal to you. But if he gets another opportunity, I know a distance coach that you can give a call to.
Man, it's he had a few opportunities come his way, which is flattering, for him. I think it's flattering for our program that people are recognizing what we're doing and those people that are in part of this program and what they're doing. And uh, you know, his number one question was, do I think he's ready? And he is. I mean, he could be a head coach, and he's getting more and more responsibilities from me as a head coach. And the other day was really cool. We're racing in Louisville, and we get done, and again, I live just outside of Louisville, and it's my son's birthday party, and I'm going to go home, And again, I'm trying to find this balance. And I said, man, have you ever seen The Greatest Showman with Hugh Jackman? He's like, yeah. I said, there at the end, he kind of like takes the hat off and gives it to Zach, whatever his name is, and he starts it. It's like, yeah. I was like, well, I'm giving you the hat. He's like, no, man, don't. I was like, no, it's yours. You got the credit card, you got the charter bus. You're the head coach, and I'm just going to go be a dad. And man, what a blessing that I'm able to do that. And again, I've found more balance this year in my own life and between being a husband and being a father and being a coach. And a lot of that has to do with him taking on the responsibility that he rightfully deserves and is ready for and wants. And yeah, but if something else comes along and it feels right for him and his family, I'm going to support him as, he almost took a position at times like, we're not enemies, believe it or not. I love this. This means a great deal to me that you have this presented to you and it's something that you want to do. And I told him, I said, Coach James, we will probably talk more if you did this because you're not a head coach. You're not going to be a head coach. I would be upset if you didn't call me and just talk about life in general. But if you had questions or concerns, man, I'm in your corner, and that will be that way if he ever did decide to go somewhere else. But I do know he's very, very happy being here at the University of Cumberlands.
Lindsey Wilson trying to steal him away from you, Coach?
No, no, no comments. No comments. And hey, Lindsey Wilson, they're doing good too, man. They actually just hired a former assistant from this program
Yeah.
to be their distance coach, and Coach Jamin, he's a great guy and will do a great job over there as well.
Right on. Coach, you mentioned the walking, adding to your daily routine. And we've gone through your kind of daily routine to show up as the strongest version of Bradley Sowder. But I'm curious, as the strongest version of Bradley Sowder, what are you doing to stay so jacked?
uh, so
Are
it's
you a
a
hypertrophy guy? What do you?
no, no. it's good genetics,
Yeah.
honestly. No. So a couple of things like you talked about, am I eating the muffins? I'm no longer eating muffins. I'm an egg guy,
All
and
right.
uh, so it's what tends to happen, unfortunately or fortunately, maybe however you want to see it. I'll get to running and get in really good running shape, and my weight gets down, and not that I'm ever a runner figure like physique wise, but I do slim down quite a bit, and then I get hurt. Usually it's my calves, and I've got to be doing something. I'm not really big on cross training, like elliptical is not my friend, or honestly, physique wise, I'm made for the bike, but who's got 3 hours to go out and ride for the equivalent of a 50-minute run? I don't, nor do I have the mental capacity to stay focused that long. So it's then it's like, all right, I'm going to lift, and I love that you can do different parts of the body, different, chest one day, back the next, legs, whatever, and you can go on there for 45 minutes or an hour and a half, and my body, for whatever receives it really, really well. And so yeah, so usually I get injured and then I just start lifting like crazy so I don't lose my mind. And then I get healthy enough to start running, and I start running, and then it kind of slims back down to a more of a runner physique for myself. And usually we're talking about 10 pounds. The transition of 10 pounds from lifting nonstop to running and lifting to then it's like I have aspirations like, oh man, maybe I should run a road race or something. And it starts to become a little bit more focused on running, and then I hurt myself, and then I go back to start lifting again. It's just like this cycle that happens back and forth. But uh, yeah, it's a little bit of its old man strength. I was never like this early on. I actually bench pressed my max. I turned 44 this year on my birthday, and I bench pressed 305 twice, which was
Nice.
like, yeah, it was pretty cool. Um, but I don't know. A lot of it's genetics, though. So and just I'm constantly moving, so that probably helps with
Yeah.
the weight and stuff. And I got people that will call me and check. They're like, "Man, you need to tone up a little bit," and then that'll set me off, and then I'll get going. So
Well, it's a good thing the bike bores you because there would definitely be some more Lance Armstrong sightings down there in Williamsburg if you get you on a bike and a kit.
man, it's I'm a Lance Armstrong guy. Grew up watching him and again, Dr. Temple, my best friend, who was my college coach, he's big into cycling, and he's a couple years older than me, and man, he's turned into a monster and doing some really cool stuff with the bike. And last fall, I was on the bike quite a bit.
Mhm.
Um, I try to avoid it though. It's just like if I could get the same like buzz,
Yeah.
like runner's high that I do with running on a bike, I'd probably never run again. And obviously would probably stay healthier, but I don't. And honestly, right now, this has been the longest span that I've been able to run healthy. Let's see, where am I on? 4 months. And a lot of that's like give a shout out to Boost treadmills. We got two Boost treadmills earlier this year, and I've been able to incorporate that into my running. Try to get on there twice a week, and it has made a tremendous difference. And so, yeah, just a cool apparatus and what these machines can do with the body and changing the added, the gravitational pressure of the body and the weight distribution
Mhm.
has been remarkable. And I advocate highly that I've been this healthy for this long, knock on wood, because of the treadmills and just being smarter. A lot of it's nutrition and realizing that I'm not 24 anymore. So
I hear you.
Well, Rich, I know you said there'd be some Lance Armstrong sightings, but I know with that 305 bench press and the way coach is built, I don't think they want to see him in CrossFit because I think he would, and you definitely get that runner's high feel too from some of those workouts.
I've had a few people approach me about that, the hypoxia or whatever you
High
call it. They're like,
rocks.
man, you would crush it. You need to do it. I actually had a former student athlete. She's into it. And she reached out to me about some running training and philosophies with that. And uh, I'm considering it. Just I'm a competitive person. I want to win no matter what it is. And to go out and realistically run a half marathon, probably not going to stay in shape long enough to get in shape where I can be like, all right, I'm going to do this wholeheartedly. Um, I'm really just enjoying, like, man, I'm able to run, like I ran 8 miles this morning. It's like I just enjoyed that time that I was able to do that, and being grateful just being healthy. Like, I mean, that's been a big piece to my fulfillment and joy in life is being able to keep moving. Um, but yeah, that competitive, it's drawn in a little bit, and it's like I might be looking into it.
Nice.
So, Coach, I know you mentioned The Greatest Showman, the movie, and I know you probably don't have time for televisions or movies, but have you watched any movies lately? You watching any programs, anything like that?
No, so the cool thing's been recently. Of course, I'm a huge Boston Red Sox fan, and about just before the All-Star break, my wife purchased the MLB app, and man, we literally that's what I would do. I would walk and talk to her, but we would watch Boston Red Sox because again, we're 2 hours away from each other, and so it was refreshing to kind of just had that moment where we're following this team die hardly, if that's such a word, and just sticking with them. And then, obviously, they had a really remarkable run to make the playoffs because they should have been much better. And then it's baseball's streaks. You're on a winning streak or a losing streak, one way or the other. And so we had that to kind of celebrate and use. So that's the only thing I was watching was Boston baseball. Um, and some nights I could watch it the whole game, and other nights it's like I can't even watch this and bear it. Movies or TVs, nothing of that. We are huge Star Wars fans. My youngest just turned 13. He's a huge Star Wars. I'm not going to say fan, advocate for it. And so when I'm with him, we're usually watching something with Star Wars. But other than that, no, I don't even like my house here on campus. I don't even have a TV. We just if I got time to watch television, we got time to recruit. If I am taking a time out, I'm taking a walk and I'm watching Boston and I got an earbud in and Missy and I are either talking to each other or texting each other like, you know, Roman Anthony, we're both big fans of him, or Jared Durant, we're big fans of him. It's like, man, did you see that? Or I can't believe that happened. Or, gosh, sucks to be a Red Sox fan right now, or whatever. And so that's the only type of television we're doing.
Right on. Coach, last time, maybe not the last time, first time, did you say you were a Deftones fan?
Yes.
Did you check out the new album?
Absolutely, absolutely. And talked about my son. I got to talk about my daughter because she's 16 and uh, younger. She's a Taylor Swift fan, and I don't think every girl's going to have a Taylor Swift phase. But as she's matured uh, and kind of moved to the front seat, if you will, of the car or the truck, she's taken ownership of the Spotify and you kind of just sit back and like next thing you know, it's like she's listening to Nirvana and she's listening to maybe a few like 70s or 80s, and then all of a sudden it's Deftones. I was like, "What do you know about Deftones?" She's like, what do you mean? What do I know about Deftones? Like, what do you want to know about Deftones?" And I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me!" Like, this is, as, I'm doing something right as a dad, at least, And uh, that's honestly like the highlight of my life right now, especially this summer, because again, I'm away from them quite a bit. Is Dad, can you take me to volleyball practice? Yes, yes, I can. And we'll jump in the truck and we're just listening to music and Deftones. We're listening. So usually from like the house to the high school, it's about a 12 to 13-minute drive. We're at least listening to two Deftones songs. We don't talk a whole lot. We don't have to. My daughter and I, like if she wants to talk, we will. But there's like this understanding. We're heading to the gym and we're getting hype and it's Deftones. And it's such a cool moment for me as a dad. Like it's like, yes, it's not crappy music.
That's awesome.
Well,
So
Coach, I'm going to nerd out a little bit. Rich turned me onto the Deftones when I was in third grade, and I'm a top three band for me. And I
yeah.
don't know if I asked you this the first time you were on, but what is your favorite Deftones album?
It would have to be like the new one's decent. It's hard to go that many years um, without an album, and then the genre itself, rock music has changed almost every 2 years. Um, I think the new one is solid because you can listen to it and if you're a Deftones fan, you can say like, okay, I know who this is, but it still has pieces that are modernized. I go like my own summer, like that's my jam. Like that is, if I'm in the gym, that is being played at least once, guaranteed. Um, and so that's going to be the one I go to because again I'm from the 90s and early
Yep.
2000s, like that rock alternative kind of influence with a little bit of metal, a little bit of European rock mixed into it. Yeah, that's where I'm living at, and so that's going to be my pick. And so I think it's funny now. Like kids are like, man, I like the song Change. Like, man, that really hits me. It's like you have no freaking clue what that song means because we all don't know what it means. And,
Yeah.
we listened to it way more than they did. And but it's cool to see those bands of like the 90s and 2000s. It's like, well, okay, Creed and Limp Bizkit and Deftones and all these guys are kind of making comebacks and it's pretty cool to see all that stuff happening.
I got a little throwback for you. It was in the fall of '97. I saw Limp Bizkit open for Deftones.
Really?
Yeah, and that was before their first album really came out, and they closed with "Gotta Have Faith."
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
was like, "Who are these guys?" And
yeah,
then,
yeah.
so yeah, Deftones is probably the band I've seen the most in concert. Yeah,
And unfortunately, I have not seen them. Don't have a whole lot of time for concerts, but we definitely listen to quite a bit of
yeah,
Deftones in our house, definitely in the truck, definitely in the weight room, for sure.
awesome.
Well, Coach Sowder, thank you so much for your time this evening. It's always a pleasure to chat with you. Make sure you tell Coach Kraftic and Coach Ruff that the Airey Bros were asking for him. Can't wait to see what the team's got going on for the rest of the season at Nationals. We'll be rooting for you. Thanks again, sir.
Guys, I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Thank you for the airtime and the questions and uh, just accepting me for who I am. Thank you, guys.
Well, we love it. We love you for who you are, and we're big fans, and we're rooting for you in Tallahassee. And best of luck at conference and next weekend as well.
All right, man. Thanks, guys. We'll see you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is Coach Bradley Sowder from the University of Cumberlands. If you aren't already, make sure you go give him a little bit of love on the social medias. Tell him that the Airey Bros sent you. That is it for us this week. We do hope you have a great rest of your week and enjoy your weekend. We will be back next week, and it's going to be all New Jersey all week. Starting off on Monday, we're going to be talking to Coach Bob Hamer from Rider University with the Broncos. And then on Thursday, Chris Lear is joining us to talk about his new book with Sean Brosnan, Beyond Fast. So we'll be weighing in a little bit more on the great pork roll.